So anyhow, 14-14 at halftime, number of focus. How does the second half begin? It begins with a touchdown pass from number 14, Jacob Coker of Alabama, which just looked pathetic. The entire Clemson defense was put in a zone to stay up in coverage. They let the tight end run right past him, O.J. Howard, and then Coker, with his wide open receiver, underthrows him. It's just embarrassing, truth seeker. Realize that not only am I good at gematria and numbers, I'm actually a good athlete too. I can throw a football really well. I happen to be born in the year 83. Maybe it's a coincidence. But anyway, watching Jacob Coker play was embarrassing for me because I know I can play better than Jacob Coker. The man has 8 inches and about 100 pounds on me and throws the football awful. It was pathetic. I'm sure that Deshaun Watson, who lost for Clemson, is really disappointed knowing what a much superior athlete he was. But anyway, wide open receiver. Why? Because it's all a rigged game. Clemson's coach knows to put him in the defense to open it up for the play. He throws this underthrown ball that his receiver has to stop for, but because the defense is nowhere near, he catches it and runs it in for a touchdown. And notice it was a 53-yard touchdown. 53, another number that's important in football. 53-man roster in the NFL. College football is essentially the breeding ground for future NFL players. And with regards to that name, Howard, it's a name with 33 gematria. A lot of times, Heisman Trophy winners have 33 names. Think about Desmond Howard. Back when I was a kid. Howard, first touchdown of the second half. So anyway, at the end of the third quarter, Clemson had taken the lead. They were up 24-21. And I knew it was over for Clemson when they put up this stat right here. Clemson won 51 straight games when entering fourth quarter with lead. Now, sports fan who's out there, think about how many times you've been watching a sports game where a stat goes up like this and then it gets broken, that streak. And you go, wow, how did they know it? The reason they knew it is because it's scripted. And with regards to 51, that's no arbitrary number. Conspiracy equals 51. Rigged sports are a real conspiracy. That phrase, conspiracy theorist, that is a programmed word into us. When we hear that word, we dismiss what's being said. Think about tinfoil hat. That phrase has been written 1,000 times plus on my blog. Where's your tinfoil hat, buddy? That's just all gematria. That's just all programming. Tinfoil hat equals 51, just like conspiracy. Think about Area 51. Also, here's what I want to point out about the fourth quarter, truth seeker. Fourth quarter happens to have gematria of 71. When you write out 71, it sums to 144, which is a number important to Alabama, which we're getting to, just like Glendale, Arizona. You learn this language of gematria, you see what's going to happen before it happens. Also, as I pointed out in the preview video, teams that wear orange generally lose in big games. Orange is the only color with 33 gematria. It's a number of sacrifice. You could look at this in sports as the orange team's getting sacrificed for the benefit of the other team. Of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but most orange teams have losing records and losing records in championship games. Cue the Denver Broncos. So Alabama, at the beginning of the fourth quarter, scores the first points. They knotted up at 24-24 with a 33-yard field goal. A 33-yard field goal. For those of you who are saying things like, well, how could they do this? How could they get it so perfectly? You need to understand that football is a game that's been around since the 1800s. The Freemasons created football. Football is taught at military schools. Think about the exactness in military schools. This is the heritage of the sport. You know, this is what they've been doing. It's a well-oiled machine at this point. And they love to put these certain numbers before your eyes all the time. Things I wonder about is how often the time is so exact. Sometimes it can be a coincidence, but oftentimes I really think they're even syncing it up with the time. A 33-yard field goal with 2:33 left on the clock. What's really interesting about the number 233 is that it's a Fibonacci number following 144. We're talking a lot about 144. Earlier in the game with 33, just before Henry scored his second touchdown, this is what they put up on the screen. ESPN giving you another 33. Alabama red zone on the season. 33 touchdowns on 59 drives this season. And neither of those numbers are arbitrary. If you want to search for my 59th video, you can type in EP-059. That episode's called Football in American Slavery. And I go into what the significance is of football in this nation. 59 is a number that shows up a lot on the football field. The word slave equals 59. We are a nation of slaves who are pacified with this football. You know, think about how many people in this world don't have anything positive to talk about besides their football team. Here in the city of Seattle where I live, that's the epidemic. You know, the majority of people, all they care about these days are the Seattle Seahawks. And when the Seattle Seahawks lose, they are blue. They have nothing else to look for in this world. They're burned out from all the school, all the work, all the taxes, all the grind. They just want to zone out on their football game. So anyhow, that 33-yard field goal, it tied up the game at 24. The score was 24-24. Now get this, Truth Seeker. What you're looking at here is not X marks the spot. You're looking at Alabama's state flag. It's a red X. X is the 24th letter. X in English gematria represents 144. This is the connection of 144 to Alabama. This is why Alabama's in a national championship game hosted in Glendale, Arizona, 144 land on the 33rd parallel. Glendale to Smallway equals 33. Glendale on the 33rd parallel, 16 equals 33. Alabama going for their 16th title at the beginning of 2016. Can you see what's going on here? So after tying it up 24-24, Alabama then takes the lead 31-24 on a 51-yard touchdown pass, again from Coker to a wide-open Howard. Deja vu from the touchdown at the beginning of the half. And remember, Clemson came into the fourth quarter having won 51 straight games leading when entering the fourth quarter. 51 again, the number of conspiracy. Coker to Howard in the second half. Howard, that 33 name. And then also going up 31-24 in a major momentum shift when Alabama equals 31. Just think about it. So then the next points scored were a Clemson field goal. They kicked a 31-yarder. No coincidence here. The tributes to Alabama. Remember the opening score, 31-yard touchdown pass to number 13. Making their points 27 was interesting because Clemson equals 27. Here the score is 27-31, like Clemson versus Alabama. No coincidence. Add it together, it sums to 58. The word Freemasonry equals 58. So then after the field goal, the next play is a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, making the score 38-33, a sum of 71 in the fourth quarter. Honestly here, Truth Seeker, I thought that there wasn't going to be any more scoring and ended up going up to 85 points, and I'm going to tell you why because I learned something from that. But again, 71 points in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter equals 71. 71 equals 144. Hopefully you're following the patterns by now. Derrick Henry, though, wasn't done. He needed a third touchdown, so Derrick Henry punched it in to make it 45-33 against Clemson. Also, what I didn't talk about is that after the touchdown run back, Clemson came down and scored and made the score 38-33. Tigers in gematria equals 33. They failed on the 2-point conversion. I was watching with my girlfriend at the time. I said, watch, baby. They're not going to get this 2-point conversion. It's going to be 38-33. And sure enough, that's what happened. You know, it looked like they didn't even try to score. The QB ran way backwards, ended up running out of bounds and coughing up the ball out of bounds. dead at 38-33 to give us this sum of 71. But then Alabama, to put it away, Chris Henry, the Heisman winner, remember 33, got his third touchdown. The game-over touchdown, giving Alabama 45 points. The name Nicholas equals 45, as in Nick Saban. At this point in the game, the sum was 78 points. Clemson Tigers equals 78. Tigers equals 33. I don't want to talk about 42 and 59 in this video. I have videos on that, but those are numbers negatively stamped on black Americans. Think about the poem Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, catch a bleep by its toe. It's not originally tiger. But anyway, 33, 42, 59, these are numbers stamped on black Americans for a very negative way. The Zionist Jews and Masons who run the show love to use black men, black women, to make money off entertainment dollars. Just think about the world of sports, music. Just think about it. All this stuff is tributes throughout. Totally rigged. So in the end, Clemson went down and scored again, messing up the spread for the Vegas bets, making the score 45-40. 45-40. Deshaun Watson finished the game with 47 attempts. Alabama's won 4 titles in the last 7 years. 47, a very important number, as we talked about. Nick Saban equals 47. First Super Bowl in the 47th year of the NFL. Here's what's up with 45-40 in the sum of 85, Truth Seeker. Deshaun Watson, the losing quarterback who scored the final points of the game, making the score 45-40. On his wristband all night, he had the number 85 written on it. Number 85 written on the wristband. Let me see if I can get something up on the screen for you to help out with the visuals here, Truth Seeker. Sometimes listening to these numbers can be difficult. So here's what it is. He had 85 on his wristband. The game finished with 85 points, 45-40. In 1985, the Chicago Bears went to the Super Bowl and defeated the New England Patriots 46-10. The Bears were 15-1 that year, and who played on their team was Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, who are 15-1 and have a shot at the Super Bowl. Clemson is very close to the Carolina Panthers. This weekend, the Carolina Panthers play the Seattle Seahawks, whose wife, or I should say the quarterback of the team, Russell Wilson, his wife, sung the national anthem for this championship game. These are all little riddles. All of this coding is riddles for people in the know. I can't refer to myself as someone in the know. I'm someone on the outside who's figured out how to decode what the people in the know are doing. I don't have the code down to a perfect science, but I see very clearly through what they're doing, and I'm exposing it better than anybody ever has before in the history of this world, which is the amazing thing. So anyhow, I think what happened last night with Clemson is a very strong indication for the fact that the Carolina Panthers will be in the Super Bowl. If I'm wrong about that, here's something else to think about. The Cardinals are the favorites to make the Super Bowl. The Arizona Cardinals began in Chicago. Remember, this tribute for 85 last night was to the 85 Bears that Ron Rivera played on. The Cardinals have a Chicago connection, but so do the Panthers through Ron Rivera, who actually played on the team. Between that information, in my mind, it makes me think this leans more favorably for the Panthers. But then again, last night's championship game was in the Arizona Cardinals Stadium, who also hosted Super Bowl 49.